And joining us now with more on a potential return to the war in Gaza is Dr. Harel Chorev, a senior researcher at the Moshe Dayan Center at Tel Aviv University. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So Israeli leaders say return the hostages now or the war will renew and the gates of hell will open. You know, that's a pretty clear message. Is that the direction we're heading in?
Well, it might be. I think Israel is trying to improve the conditions of such a deal. At the moment, it's quite rigid on behalf of Hamas. And I think Israel is creating a lot of pressure, not only within Hamas, but also among the Arab countries. And this is the reason why we see an unmatured decision that will probably be held tomorrow by the Arab countries to create this two forces that are working together in a pincet move to put pressure on Hamas. And this is basically what Israel is claiming at the moment. We want different deal, and if we won't get better conditions, we will go to war. I'm not sure it's behind the door, but at the moment, this is exactly what we are projecting to Hamas.
Mm-hmm. And so Israel says the gates of hell will open on Hamas in Gaza. What kind of military operation then would we be talking about?
Well, we just heard 2-3 days ago that Secretary of State Marco Rubio approved an additional $4 billion in ammunition to Israel, which adds up to $12 billion just from the beginning of the Trump administration. This is something that signals a real force backing by the U.S. To Israel, and that the war will not be held in a moderate manner like we saw in the past year under the Biden administration. It would be much more aggressive, less infantry on the ground and more fire from the air. And I think this is exactly the message that they're trying to send to Hamas, that it won't look as it looked by the end of the first phase of the war. And I think not only you see, we didn't attack basically 30% out of the Gaza Strip. The reason is very simple. We have hostages there, and Israel avoided from attacking those 30%, mainly in the central camps and central Gaza, because of this reason. I think that if Israel will go again into war with full force, we will see something throughout the Gaza Strip, including in those areas.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, Israel is already blocking the humanitarian aid into Gaza. And we know that Israel, though, has made certain concessions as part of this ceasefire deal. Do you expect that the ground forces would move quickly to sort of return to pre-ceasefire positions inside Gaza? You mentioned that it would be more likely attacks from the air, but would we likely see another sort of wide-scale ground invasion as well?
Yeah, absolutely. This is part of the things that Israel might do, first and foremost, to offset all the achievements, the military achievements of Hamas in the first phase. And first, I would think about the Netzarim corridor that was evacuated. Israel can take it back within hours, and this is something that we knew even before we draw, and it's totally achievable. And all of that is really to project to Hamas that it needs to ease its conditions. I would also give an attention to what Egypt offered just 2 days ago. I think the Arabs are under a lot of pressure. On the one hand, the Trump plan to exile the Palestinians to Jordan and Egypt. So they want to find a solution of their own, an alternative. And on the other hand, Israel that is pushing forward to attack the Gaza Strip. And therefore, what we get is those two things that we just saw in the past 2 days. One is an Egyptian offer to postpone the ceasefire or to extend the ceasefire in another 2 weeks and to get three hostages, live hostages back and three dead hostages, unfortunately, back. And to postpone it in 2 weeks. They want to earn time in order to try to find a solution, first and foremost within the Arab countries, because as we said, their decision at the moment is far from being matured and I would say clusterized and coherent.
All right, well, certainly fateful days ahead of us. Dr. Harel Chorev, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.